After 14 years, my biological son comes looking for me when he preferred his stepfather. Now my sister is begging me to talk to him. When I was 20 years old, my then-girlfriend got pregnant. I was very scared, but I prepared myself and married her. It was difficult, but we made it work for 8 years until I caught her cheating on me, ended the marriage, and started raising my son. He was my world. My father wasn't present in my life, so I promised to be the best father I could be. I had my son with me every weekend, always punctual and ready to receive him. Despite working full-time and studying, I made sure he always had my full attention when he was with me. He was my best friend and my son. Despite the economic difficulties, we had some incredible adventures. He loved spending time with my family and even had friends in our neighborhood. I thought we were okay until he was around 11 years old. That's when he started not wanting to visit me. His mother had a new boyfriend who was prosperous and knew how to take them on trips and fun activities on weekends. At first, I said nothing, but around 6 months after they started dating, my son would maybe see me one weekend a month. After about 9 months, he stopped coming altogether. After 3 months of calling, chasing, and begging, I couldn't make progress. So my family joined together and hired a lawyer to file a lawsuit for parental alienation against my ex. I lost the case and was sentenced to pay more child support. As I was leaving the court, my ex's lawyer approached me and offered to cancel child support if I relinquished my parental rights. I simply refused until the lawyer mentioned that was the desire of my ex-wife and my son. I asked to speak with my son alone, and they agreed as long as both lawyers were present. I talked to my son and asked him if he really wanted me to give up my rights, and he said yes. I explained to him that would mean I wouldn't be his father anymore, and that he couldn't come to visit me or my family anymore. He looked me in the eyes as if he were asking me the time and said, "Yes, and what?" I was devastated. I asked him again if he really understood what he was saying, and he affirmed that he did, that he wanted to be the son of my ex's boyfriend. I signed the papers that same day, and since then, until 2 days ago, he never spoke or communicated with me or any member of my family. That almost killed me. I started drinking and was drunk for weeks. Finally, one day, I drank until I passed out and almost died from inhaling my own vomit. I would be dead right now if the mailman hadn't left a package with my name at my neighbor's house, and she hadn't seen me convulsing through the window and called 911. I spent 2 weeks in the hospital with pneumonia. After that, I returned to my hometown, got a new job, started exercising, and spent 4 years in intensive therapy. Finally, I was able to leave it all behind and move on with my life. About 6 years after my move, I met my current wife, who had an 11-year-old son. At first, I felt indifferent towards him, but that boy was and is so wonderful that I couldn't help but fall in love with him. On his 18th birthday, he asked me to adopt him. His father abandoned him when he was 5 years old, and he was never heard from again. It was the proudest day of my life. He and his mother changed my life and gave me a reason to live. Now, I not only have my wonderful adopted son, who is currently serving in the Navy, but I also have a 4-year-old son and a daughter. My career has also taken off, and things are going very well for me and my family. I am a story of overcoming. I went from being a man whom no one could love to being a successful father of 3 children with a beautiful wife and family. About 3 weeks ago, I received a call in my office. It was my first biological son. He informed me that my ex had passed away. I simply said, "Okay," and hung up. It has been 14 years since I had contact with any of those people, and I have no desire to know anything about them. Now, on the 4th of July, my family and I were getting ready to go on a picnic. When the doorbell rang, I recognized him through the glass door. It was my first biological son. I opened the door, and he said, "Hi, I'm your son." Without hesitation, I replied, "No, you're not. I have 2 sons, and you're not one of them. Now, please leave my property." He simply stood there stunned as I closed the door. After a moment, he left. I sent a message to my family informing them that he had shown up. I said I have no intention of having any contact with him and that I will completely cut off anyone who does in my life. It has been 14 years. I owe him and his family nothing. I had to listen to my mother cry for him on her deathbed. For that child, I laid in a hospital bed with a machine breathing for me. I learned in therapy that he had the right to make his own decisions, but I also have the right to make mine. My choice was to move forward without him as part of my family, as he wanted. He has no right to come back into my life and disrupt me or my family. Now my whole family agrees with me. Even my wife and in-laws agree that nothing good can come from meeting him at this time. He is now 26 years old. If this was some malicious plan by his mother and her boyfriend, he had 8 years to contact me, and he didn't. Now that his mother has suddenly died, I am prepared to defend myself. I don't care if he was 12 or 200 years old. He made the choice, and if you had seen the expression in his eyes when he said, yes and what, you would know, like I did, that he didn't care at all. So I had to stop worrying about him to survive. He has no right to ambush me on my porch and act like he's important to me now. Well, I found out that it's my sister who's giving him my contact information. My sister, whom I love dearly, is inconsolable because I won't give him a chance. Apparently, he called her after coming to my house and vented to her. I told her to stop getting involved in this, that I don't care, but now she's begging me for the sake of our mother to meet that boy. So, I ask you, is there anything good that can come from meeting that boy now?